Hi Stitchy friends, and welcome to my Flosstube channel. My name is Kenzie from Mud Puppy Stitchery, and I am a cross-stitch designer. I am a bird nerd and a wildlife lover, and I enjoy doing all of the crafty things. So if you're new, welcome. I hope you like what you see, and I hope that you'll continue to follow up with me on my future videos. And for my current subscribers, thank you so very much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So I hope everybody has been well, and I am back for another update, and I've got some exciting things to share with you today. So including some whips, a couple new starts, a new chart that I just released, and some other really fun crafts that I've been dabbling in. So let's jump right in and have some fun. And I also wanted to mention that I invested in a new camera. So I'm hoping that the picture quality and the sound quality is good, but it's gonna take a little bit of time to get it figured out, and I'm gonna have to experiment with it a little bit. But let me know what you think and if anything needs to be adjusted. As a quick life update, things have been great the past couple weeks. And I've really been enjoying working on my stitching and other projects, but otherwise it's been pretty quiet with not too much going on. But we finally did get some snow, and the temperatures have dropped quite a bit, with the highs in the single digits. So I've mainly been inside enjoying lots of cozy time. But unfortunately, our house only has a one-car garage. And so a couple months ago, we had bought a huge carport shelter from Costco, and it's nice because it has zippered sides. And that has been a lifesaver, to not have to dig my car out of the snow or scrape my windows when I need to go somewhere. So that's been really great. Even just having it sheltered from the bitterly cold wind helps a lot. So that was a really good purchase and definitely a lifesaver in the winter time. The birds at my bird feeder have been hungrier than ever, especially in these sub-zero temperatures. So it's been really fun to watch them out my window when I've been working from home. And I think the two best reasons to be able to work from home would be that, one, I can stay in my pajamas, at least from the waist down, and I can look out the window watching my bird feeders all day. So that's been super fun. But speaking of birds, I have been receiving a lot of really nice comments about how people have been really enjoying my wildlife minutes. So thank you so much for the kind words. That really means a lot to me. But it's been really fun to do, and it's nice that I can use my biology background to get people interested in nature, and it actually helps to refresh my memory too. So it is that time of the year when bald eagle updates will start up again, and as bald eagles in the upper Midwest will start nesting season in about a month or so. And if you haven't followed me for the past year of my Flosstube, I like to highlight and check in on a couple live bald eagle cams that are located in and around my area, and follow their progress on the eggs being laid and the chicks hatching and them growing up and them taking their first flight when they leave the nest. So it's been a really fun series, and people seem to really enjoy it. So I plan on doing it again this year. But before I launch right into the stitching, I did want to share a really funny story in my Wildlife Minute of something that has happened a couple days ago and really threw me through a loop. So if you're not interested in the story, that's totally fine. Please feel free to skip to this time point where I start talking about my stitching. Hi Stitchy friends, Wildlife Kenzie here. If you're new here, I find a lot of joy feeding the birds that come to my bird feeders, both the little birds and the bigger birds. And because it's been so cold lately, they are very eager for food and water. And so I like to give them a little bit of extra sustenance to help them survive these sub-zero temperatures. And so we'll have the typical array of species that we'll visit, including black-capped chickadees, northern cardinals, white-breasted nuthatches, hairy and downy woodpeckers, etc., etc. And I also have a very large murder of crows that visits each day as well. So I went outside through the garage door to the backyard to fill up my feeders, and we have this extra shed out there to hold bird seed and, you know, yard tools and those such things. So I opened it up and with my key, and I did what I needed to do, and I locked it back up with my key. And then I ended up putzing around and started bringing my stuff back to the garage. And then that was when I noticed my keys were missing and they were not in my pocket. So I went back out and I searched everywhere in the snow, thinking that I had dropped them somewhere. And then about 10 minutes after 10 minutes of searching, I couldn't find them, and I was getting really cold at this point because the high was 1 degree with a real feel of -13 degrees Fahrenheit. So I went back inside to finish off the rest of my work from home day and decided that I would look later before it got too dark. I was a little bit nervous because we usually have a murder of around 20 to 40 crows that visit each day, and if they happen to find the keys lying on the ground, it could go one of 3 ways. 1, they could completely ignore them. 2, they could find them and then place them in an obvious spot where I would find them because they do recognize me. Or, and this is probably what would most likely happen, they would see that there is something shiny and pretty and fly off with it. So I wasn't too sure. I was a little bit nervous, but I was keeping an eye out all day long. So it's the end of the day and it's starting to get dark, and I wanted to make one last ditch effort to try and find the keys. So I went out through the garage, and luckily I was able to find them hiding under a pile of snow. Luckily I don't think the crows had found the keys, so I think I had dodged a bullet there. But as soon as I started walking back through the yard and back through the garage to head back inside, this female house sparrow must have gone inside the garage ahead of me because it was warmer in the garage than it was outside. And then as I was walking in, I think I spooked it, and to my horror, I had left the door to the inside slightly ajar, and she flew right on into my house. So now I have this female house sparrow flying around and landing on all of my plants, and as you'll see, she really enjoyed my moth cross-stitch piece. But I had ran over and opened the front door to try and have her fly out, but she ended up flying upstairs instead. So I was eventually able to trap her in a bedroom, and luckily I was able to open the window and then open up the screen so that she could fly out back into the cold. But of course I was home alone, and so I was furiously texting TJ as I was struggling to get the screen off the window. But everything turned out fine. She flew out, she was totally fine. But I have now learned that house sparrows really do live up to their name. So that was my crazy story about what happened this week, and I thought that you guys would enjoy hearing about it. But let's head back on over and chat about some stitching. All right, welcome back. So one whip that I have worked on that you guys will all be familiar with is Moggy Manor by the Blue Flower. And I have gotten a little bit more progress on this since the last time, and I can't wait to get back to this piece. It's been really, really enjoyable stitching. So as I said before, I am personalizing this piece to memorialize the dogs that have been in my life, and so all of the cats that are originally on the pattern, they will be swapped out and redesigned. So I had recharted the bottom phrase to say all dogs go to heaven and filled it in with white, which I really think it makes it pop so much. So I'm loving how it's turning out. And then my next assignment will be, when I pull it out next, will be to complete the grass line here and then move over to the left-hand side where I can start on the birch tree and two of the birds. And I can pull up the pattern right here. So this is what I will be working on next time, getting this little section done. So yeah, that will be what I will be working on next. But this is being stitched on 18 count old gold by My Vintage Needle Arts, and this was started in April of last year. The next whip that I worked on was the Raccoon by Cottage Garden Samplings, and I thought that I was going to be able to finish this one for today's video. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to, but this will most definitely be complete by my next video for sure, because I am so close. But I am loving how he is turning out, and I will be continuing to work on the flower section, and then there's this little house down in the right hand corner over here that I'll be working on soon. But yeah, I'm going to try and fit a little 2024 somewhere on the chart, just because I always think it's nice if I can date my pieces, if I'm able to fit it in nicely. And then the variegated pink that I'm using is DMC 48, and it is turning out so pretty on this light blue fabric. So this is being stitched on 18 count verdigris by My Vintage Needle Arts, and this was started last February. I did have two new starts recently, and one of them was Strawberry Bird by the Blue Flower. I know this is a black and white copy, so it's not very good to look at, but this will give you a general idea of what I'm stitching. And I have wanted to stitch this one forever, and I finally got the courage to start it on this beautiful fabric, this deep raspberry color. And I love it so, so much. I think it is turning out so beautiful. And the fabric is an 18 count dark pink by My Vintage Needle Arts. And for some reason, anything with greens and pinks and oranges just makes my heart so happy. So this was a perfect project to start, and this was started on New Year's Eve. And it's a little bit hard to see, like I was saying, with the black and white copy. But my next assignment will be to finish up this next vine that kind of opens up into like a really pretty pale pink flower. And that's going to be charted in DMC 3770, which is like a very nice light pinky white. So very excited to get back to this piece. And if you are wondering what type bird this is actually a cedar waxwing. And unfortunately, I don't see them around very often, even though they're supposed to be here all year round. But they are such elegant and pretty birds, and so maybe if I keep stitching on this, I'll encourage a couple more to visit my bird feeder. My second new start was Whale Fields by Mama Witch X Stitch on Etsy. And I have a little bit done on this so far. But this is going to be stitched with all DMC colors. And unfortunately, when I was at Joann's earlier, I was not able to find the called for DMC 924. And that's going to be the darkest part of the whale's body, which is described as like a dark pearl green. So I was able to find an alternative green in the DMC, but I actually put it on my fabric when I got home, and I don't think it's going to work well with the color that's right next to it, which is 3768. So here are the two colors together. This is 500, and then this is 3768. And I think the tones are just too different for it to look like a nice gradient. So I'm just gonna skip that color for now. But my next assignment, when I work on this again, I am going to try to complete the tail and these two little seaweed doodads on either side. So I think that will be some good progress to work towards. But this is being stitched on 18 count pistachio by Fiber on a Whim Fabrics. I was also able to release a new design on my Etsy page called the Wood Duck Sampler. Now, this came about because my friend, who I'm actually going to be visiting this weekend, she had asked me if I would design a small piece with like little ducks on it to help celebrate her niece who will be born this coming June. So we were both on the same wavelength and we were both thinking wood ducks. I absolutely love wood ducks and just how colorful and extravagant they are. So I thought putting a mom and a dad and the two little ducklings would be adorable. And this is what I came up with. Now there are actually two versions of this piece that you can stitch. So you can either stitch it as a birth sampler like this by customizing the name and the date, or you can stitch it as more of a traditional sampler piece with the colorful alphabet at the bottom. But I am really pleased with how it turned out, and if you are interested in purchasing, my Etsy shop will be linked down below. I was able to get another crochet granny square block done for my, basically what I'm calling my favorite colors blanket. And this is what I made. Now, I'm usually not a purple girl, but this deep raspberry color right here was really calling to me, and so I think it turned out so pretty. And I will quickly show you the other blocks as well. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 total, including the purple one. So the last thing I need to do with this is to get the border done, and then those will be attached together to create a 9 square blanket that is suitable for a queen size bed. And the majority of these yarns, they are Lion Brand Heartland yarns. And if you want to know any like specific color names, just let me know in the comments and I can point you in the right direction. But 4 more blocks to go and this blanket will be complete. The last crafty thing I worked on is kind of out of left field, but it kind of sort of relates to cross stitch. Recently, I have come across a content creator on Instagram called Sellin' Half Sings, who has been making these absolutely adorable Minecraft flowers. And they are super pixelated and bright and so much fun, and I needed to make them. So then I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole on Pinterest, and I found so many free pixel art charts, which could also technically be cross-stitch charts because it's essentially the same thing. But I have saved so many cute ones, and so I will make sure to link them down below so you can also check them out as well. So I looked into buying wooden blocks, but for the types of designs that I wanted to create, I would need a lot of blocks, and they're actually a lot more expensive than you think they would be. So I was brainstorming and I decided to try cutting out and painting like thick craft paper that already has a grid on it, and then gluing it onto another thick piece of cardboard essentially to give it some bulk. It was a mixed success. So I didn't actually fully finish it because I was kind of discouraged about how sloppy it was turning out. But here is how it turned out. It's just a cute little chicken that I wanted to make for my friend. Let me tell you, it is extremely hard to try and paint tiny little squares with perfectly straight edges, even when I tried using painter's tape to mask out the shape. So I'm gonna try a different route and see if this works better. But TJ had bought me this awesome little 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch square punch. And I'm gonna try mixing up the colors that I need, painting out some swatches, letting them dry, and then punching the squares out of that swatch using this. And I guess technically I could use colored cardstock, but that seemed like it was going to be a little bit more expensive than buying just a couple paints and mixing my own colors for exactly what I needed. But we'll see. So I will keep you updated on this very random but very fun project. So plans and purchases. So I did end up buying a couple Fiber on a Whim fabrics from 123 Stitch. So those should be coming soon, and I will of course make sure to show you guys next time. And those are going to be for a couple pieces that I'm working on kitting up pretty soon. And one of those is I'm kitting up a huge gift that I had received from my stitchy friend Gwen last year when she so kindly sent me all of the Bird Crush Bird Club birds from Lindy Stitches. So that was an absolutely incredible gift. I'm so thankful for that. So first one I'll be starting is the black-bellied whistling ducks. And I was able to get all of the DMC colors, so that will be a super fun start sometime soon. I also just recently received a wonderful gift from my boss who had commissioned one of my very talented coworkers to make these beautiful hand-painted wooden flowers. So I was even able to pick out the colors. So pretty. I think they're just absolutely beautiful. And so I will make sure to link my coworker's website or Facebook page where she sells these, because the craftsmanship on these wooden flowers that are hand painted, they are just lovely. And it is Simple Creations by Shannon. So love that. So I had a really good idea with a freebie chart that's been sitting around in my chart stash for a long time. And I really wanted to start stitching this freebie by Heartstring Samplery called The Earth Laughs in Flowers. And I thought it would be an amazing idea to attach it somehow onto this flower piece. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do this yet, but I think it's going to look spectacular as like a fully finished piece together. So I will make sure to link down below where I got the freebie if you're interested, so you can download it too. And I'll just keep you updated on how this goes, and please make sure to check out Shannon's page if you're interested in the flowers. Alright Stitchy friends, that is all that I have for you today. I hope you have enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please like the video, please comment down below, and check out my Etsy page, which is also linked down below. Please follow me on at MudPuppyStitchery on Instagram to keep an eye on what I'm doing in between videos. So I appreciate you so very much, and I hope to see you in a couple weeks. So take care, do some bird watching, and stitch all of the things. Bye!